said sorry.
Oh,
he was like, yeah, sorry. And I was like, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's a small space. So he's like, yeah, I could have just merged, like one person.
Share 5
gum.
gum.
Yeah, it literally ended up becoming a whole
giant
like
piece of
walk.
gum.
Yeah. So kind of fucking.
I think this is a good spot to probably jump in, ladies
Oh
and
yeah,
gents.
no, do your thing.
Welcome back to Articulate with Steve McJones. Today we have Devo Leyeom,
Yeah.
and Adan Perez.
Yes.
How are we doing today, folks?
Good. It's a good day today.
I, Devo, Leyeom, for those listening in an auditory sense, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Yeah.
Okay, we got the ASMR checkbox.
Yeah.
We got
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait, actually, I have a cup.
Okay. But I'm really interested. There was a point on set. So we were just on a set of this short film that we were working on, and there was one point where you two were having a conversation, and I said to Adan, I was like, dude, I just want to record all the conversations that you guys have on set because they're so intense, but like very technical, but also, I mean, what I'm finding out, and I mean, I'm sure you guys know very well, is like the technical aspects plays into the emotional aspect of movies so well. Like, I don't know, even editing wise is like how you can edit jarringly or, but it's like a certain technique within the editing, right? But I wanted to start, where'd you guys meet?
Yeah, I mean, we met on set, right? Back in the day, it was like 2013. There was this film coming out that with a nice producer, nice director. Producer was really good for the time. Really put his work in heavy. You got a lot of people. Some of the cast fell off, and when the cast fell off, they introduced a new cast member who happened to be Devante's character.
Oh, you were an actor, even though he doesn't act.
Yeah, no, that was how I started. I started as an actor.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Devante will tell you a little bit more about how he got into acting and his thing with music, and not only that, but probably dancing and stuff.
Sure. Well, yeah, maybe that's
choreography and stuff. Because that's kind of what got him. What I remember got him into acting type shit. Because I think that's how we really got to meet. Because you still doing a lot of
no, actually, it was like we were
and
working on there, right? But we, Redman, you had a Redman vinyl.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Redman. And you were like holding the camera and was like, oh, yeah, that's mine. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then that was like our first like actual like interaction because for the most part I was just like an actor just there. I'm like, all right. So,
what was the project? Are we allowed to say?
Yeah. This was a True Vice.
You can say it more than I can because I was just there for certain days.
It started to it was a great, like I said, it was a great project, really well produced by this person. And then it just ended up being certain things with scheduling. So this is why we go back to doing scheduling so concise and so tight because of the different experiences. Like it became almost like a burden to have to do 1 day here, 2 hours, 2 days here, 6 hours each day. It was very hard to do that. Even though the people organized it very well, it ended up missing holes and with the lack of equipment and stuff. Like but it ended up being a great cast and stuff. At the time, like all those social media type stuff, accounts or job sites were kind of early into film stuff. So it was just a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, they're still not super developed. Like, film.org looks like a college kid's, like, project that he made.
Because it kind of is.
Is it actually?
It is for beginners, It is for beginners. You want the real site, you got to be in the industry. You got to be there.
You got to be in an email list.
Got to tell you how to
get so this is also why I wanted to have you guys on, because you've been in the industry for 10 years, right? Or around
just
10
about.
Years, about 10 years. And
especially more on the non-union side.
Yeah.
Well, if we want to count like union, it's been like good, like what, 8? It hasn't been a decade. I know because I don't know if it was Miss Atkins Army. That wasn't.
Yeah, that was all union stuff, but we were still non-union. But even in that,
us as like
working
working.
Can you explain what even union and non-union film industry stuff is? I mean, I know it's hard.
I'm sure there's people that could probably explain it better, but for us, like for individual filmmakers and stuff, like no, I mean, obviously we respect people that are, and then we have to work together. So just in different situations, we wanted to be part of different, and I'm sure we still want to be part of different unions and guilds and stuff like that, and like societies and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean the big one
will
is
happen.
the SAG
Hopefully that will happen. But it's like we want to continue pursuing what we're doing as independent filmmakers right now in order to get the services and be able to afford the rate and the pay of these very, very highly qualified individuals who happen to be union that we know can get us the look that we want when we need it in a very, like moment without having to waste the time and train people and all that. Like, just, forget about that. Like, no, it's when we get to that point, I'm sure we'll be working all the time with people that are like full union, and that's all merit to everything. We're all trying to create good things, and there's no, for my opinion, there's no stopping independent media from moving on, and we have to learn to maneuver between the
play
different
both
things.
sides. That way you come out on top either way.
Just like just stay true.
Well, we don't want to say that. You don't play both sides.
No,
definitely don't do that.
Definitely don't do that. Double dipping and all that type of stuff. That's different. Like when you're doing whatever. But when you're talking about just like no, like you work with who you work with, and you get to the point where you work with higher tier people, higher quality people. It's like that famous saying that's like, or I believe it's like this: like if you are the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't want to just surround yourself with people who are at a certain level the whole time, or you're
you
trying
just take
to
advantage of the room.
So you're telling me it's
good
that I'm always the dumbest in the room.
It just happens. Well, I was the dumbest in the room for like all my life, right? But it's like that's just what happens. Like you put yourself in situations where you're like, hey. If you were that little kid and you heard a conversation, like a grown-up conversation, and you didn't flee to go hide because it was intense, and you kind of just sat there and were like, what are they talking about? Then you're probably the guy that sits in a corporate office and sees somebody arguing and is like, yo, and is everything okay? Like, what's going on? Like, is there anything we could do to help? You know what I mean? Because we're here to fix solutions. Like, I know that I've heard this before. I've heard this stuff before, but it doesn't bother me. Like, I've heard people get mad. I hear people, like Devante had to,
Hold on, real quick. Does your damn glasses?
Oh yeah, they keep
falling
off.
No, but does it have an A? Is it for it for Adan? Is that what that?
Devo, I have a question for you because it seems like you on set were very good with teaching moments, I think, and really good at everything that you've learned. So I want to ask, like, what was the set that you feel like you learned the most on?
I think honestly. Believe it or not, it's usually like independent stuff, like student films.
Okay.
Because those are beginners.
And
that's usually where you figure out that like, oh shit, things could get fucked up. Because when you're like low level on high tier stuff, you don't see the fuck ups. You're not really witnessing. You're mostly like the last trickle ground floor level of like what information you discover.
Yeah.
Like if there's a sudden budget issue, you're not gonna know that if you're a PA.
Yeah, they're just not gonna call you in for the next day.
They're not. Yeah, you just won't know. You just gonna be like, well, I thought I had one tomorrow, but where's the call sheet? There is none. We're all fired. So,
but is there one specific set that you?
I was thinking about that. Honestly, I really was. Is fucking hard. Honestly, I think probably Voiceless. It was the last acting project that I did. And it was like, I was an extra on it. And I think it was like my first time witnessing like a full union set even as an actor, and was like, that looks way more fun than what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
And I feel like I can have more like idea of what can go on there. And that was like long before like True Vice. It was because of that project that even got me on the project that like we ended up working on. So it was like, that so Voiceless. I've always wondered whatever happened to that movie because I've never seen it. Like I've always wanted to see it because I was supposed to be like the extra that was a boxer in the background.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And so I mean, when you say like the union stuff that you saw,
everything specifics. Else for the most part was like you see music videos and you see like student films, and a lot of them just have like people with cameras, just like a person with a camera and maybe a bounce board or something.
Yeah.
But it's never like I think the biggest to my knowledge back then was this this donut commercial. It wasn't even like a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. It was I wish I could remember what the name was.
Yeah, I remember
the sprinkle where I was a sprinkle mascot donut, and like I had the sprinkles like this sparklers and shit.
Yeah.
But are we allowed to curse on here?
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, but that was like like Voiceless. If I had to give an answer to that question, it'd be probably Voiceless because it actually Juliana Crossman actually was the person that ended up calling me for my first actual PA gig.
Oh.
And then Lauren McGarry is the one that taught me everything by the time we got to
shout out to Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren McGarry really was the one that taught me like the paperwork and shit because when we were working on Miss Atkins' Army and Lauren was stressing at the whole holding, And she was, because remember, if you remember, the holding for that one location, the mansion location, was like a drive away.
Yeah.
Like that one area that she was in.
Yeah, it's breaking everything down, making sure schedules were correct.
Yeah,
sure,
I just went there to help her out with the fucking receipts and shit. And bro, she just ended up was like, I feel like she was the trademark. So you know what? Actually, I changed my answer. It wasn't Voiceless. As a production, it was definitely Miss Atkins Army because I learned so much shit. That's
kind of what I was thinking of. What I was thinking of.
I've learned so much shit from that, and not a good way either. Like a painful fucking way.
Something we're kind of just like jumping into. Something that we should know is that. I don't know. From what it seems like, your preference of position is AD on a set?
It's writer.
Writer, okay.
Writer, honestly.
But you're good at ADing. And so
apparently.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but
he's a very good director.
And a great director, which we'll get into. And then Adan is DP for the most part?
Yeah, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Director of photography, cameraman.
Cinematographer.
Cinematographer.
Gaffer, if you ever need, he's light. Yeah, electric. He's a good.
We can make some nice diagrams. We can plan ahead.
He does lighting diagrams. But, he's really good.
But it's funny, hearing you say, like, when you think about it, like student films especially, like when I wrote my first short film, it was like, oh, it's just going to be me. I wrote it with 2 leads. So I was like, it's going to be me, 2 people, and a camera. It's not, like, what do I need?
Right, like, what else would I need? Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then you figure out that it's a whole, you need it's a production. You know what I mean?
It's a whole,
it's a process. I don't think it needs to be as expensive as most of them are.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For the most part, if people more so like continue just artists work with artists. I think if artists work with artists, it shouldn't. It's only because we need to work with business because everything's so expensive.
Yeah,
and it's usually not even like the actors or something. Sometimes it'll be like the location.
Yeah, or like even gear. If you know people that just own gear, they're renting it for like investment, right? But if they already have paid that investment back and they know another artist that they're friends with, it's just like, just lend it to me for like half off or something.
Well, see, lending that becomes a big thing because because you break someone's like if you broke his loom cube, you know what I mean?
Did I?
Well, no.
No, I was just saying, like, if you did, like, if you had broke one of those,
his loom cube's gonna sue us or something.
Sponsor.
Gonna get it. I mean, there's not a lot of loom cubes in the world, so
Loom
cubes are fun, actually. That's like a little fun fact we could throw in is like a loom cube. How do you describe a loom cube, Adan?
Well, I can describe what it's it's a film photo light, but the fact that it came out through GoPro back in like 2013.
That's a GoPro light?
It's a GoPro light or drone light now.
That makes a lot of sense.
But the fact they made little barn doors and all that type of stuff. Like yesterday, I had this gig with Mike down in Middletown. He's shooting this short film, and one of those saved us down here in the basement. Like we clamped one of those and did a little barn doors on it and made everybody's like from midway up look kind of like have like a back lit in a really black environment, making the party look like it's partying, without that many people. It was like 10 people. But he did a great job in shooting it like that, and the DP really thanked us because he was like, hey, you kind of saved my ass there because it looks a lot better. But people underrate them, man. People look down on them, because they're little, because they're not a big cine light. I mean, we could do halogens, we could do 20Ks, generators, and all, HMIs and all that type of stuff. Great, we could do that. But is it needed for what we're doing? If you're doing we shot 13 pages. And we're talking about 13 full pages of a script, making sure every single shot is lit properly for whatever that we're doing, especially with Hunter.
Oh, we talk about the first day.
It's a huge amount of work to do if you want to move a crew around.
That was over 40 shots. Just remember
it's
that.
Insanity.
And a lot of, I think 6 of those we scrapped.
Right. But Thursday, I was like, dude, it's hard keeping up with breaking records every day.
That's definitely doing it in a way that, with one camera, with one of the best cameras right now to shoot that stuff with some of the best lenses.
Oh, what was that camera?
The Sony FX9 with some Zeiss.
They shot the creator
prime lenses on, and it's like knowing what you can work with in a limited crew in a small environment, doing some stuff that you need to get in and out of in Kensington. You have to do what you have to do, to get the shot.
You got to get the shot. You got to get the take.
You have to get the take. You got to get it, and you got to make sure that
just that one.
You're happy with it.
Yeah.
I counted about it's maybe a second and a half, which is about maybe 36 frames that need to be matched and stilled and rotoscoped out, and that's about it. But when it comes to a mistake and doing something like in and out,
Yeah.
and doing a scene like that in the middle of Kensington, I think it's props to the production team, it's props for the directors, props for the actors. You know, we all did a good job in order to get in and out, and then the stuff that we had to do after. You know, so it's like little things like that. We with permits and the cover of Police. It was good, and then those Loom cubes come in handy for every shot like that. So hopefully one day we'd be able to use them a little bit more frequently.
I just think, so it's funny.
Real quick though, can you put a Loom cube on a drone?
Yeah, they have attachments for the arms. You know how you can't see the drone or whatever.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, you could.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, you could.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Now you know for the next project.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's like a note that I didn't know. I thought it would be too heavy.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. Would the Bluetooth not bother it whatsoever? Like, because
I don't know if you could probably reach.
Both like, well, no, but the fact that like both lights are, well, the drone is Bluetooth and the light is also Bluetooth.
That's good. Maybe it works with it. You know, maybe it has an app for it.
That'd be pretty wild.
Compatibility.
What if it fucks with the f-stop because the light is set to a certain way?
Okay, this is too much jargon for the listeners. The jargon, they're like, what is happening right now? What are they talking about?
What are we talking about?
Just a random thought. But what were you going to ask?
So I just wanted to, so like I said, I thought my first project, it was going to be just me, you know, with the camera and then two actors, right? But fortunately I had the actress that we asked to be the second lead, and he's out of water. Here, have mine. I have coffee. You can
no, it's not that serious, man.
Okay.
There you go.
But fortunately, she had been on some real.
Though.
Yeah, no problem. She had been on some real productions, and she had like a team. She knew people who had AD'd and scripty and crafty and all these things that I had no idea even existed, right? And I was the director on this, right? Yeah. So being a director with no prior knowledge, what she did was basically set it up. Everything so that I could just walk on set and just listen to the actors and pay attention to the actors.
That's really nice.
Which was beautiful. Like, I loved it. But, you know, even with the DP, you know, we were trying to get a shot list together the day before. You know what I mean? Or the 2 days before. And a shot list, for those of you who don't know, is very important, which I've come to find out. Where, you know, say, this is the example that I, you know, kind of from Hunter, but say there's a scene that you're trying to film where a guy just walks into a bar and orders a drink, right? So you got to get coverage of him walking in, sitting down, and ordering the drink from the bartender. So a close-up of his face ordering the drink. But then, you know, if the bartender returns, you know, conversation, then you got to get the other side too. So that's, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 shots already, right? And that's for like a 15 to 20 second scene of him just like walking.
But you see how you're like saying all of that, your description. You're like, yeah, this is the shot I want.
Yeah,
that's the benefit of a shot list, everyone, because that right there. You're just telling me. I don't know shit.
Yeah.
You have to show me. And that's the benefit of a storyboard, because the storyboard now lets the crew know, oh, this is how it is. This is the benefit of the lighting diagram.
And so the storyboard...
Because it lets everyone else know how it's going to be lit.
Yeah, G&E. And
so explain what a storyboard
is. Oh, no, I get there. I was going to get there. You know, but I'm just, you know, I'm breaking it down.
Sure.
This is the like portions that you got to do.
It's called Production Bible. Really?
Production Bible.
Yeah, it's typically
it's your workbook, man.
Dude, this was the greatest piece of knowledge that I think I got from Hunter and from hanging out, which is why I'm so grateful for it.
It's a really good piece of equipment.
Complicated.
That if you work on it really properly, it becomes a foolproof way of making this thing happen.
Yeah,
you know,
in kind of smoothly. Smoothly as possible.
Absolutely. The best you can. Like, at least it gives you somewhat like awareness of what you're about to prep for.
Right.
Absolutely. You know.
So we keep talking about this thing. Can you explain what it is?
The
Production Bible.
The Production Bible.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, for example, from my end, like my brother is a construction manager, right? I come from painting and background and stuff, and we've gone into big buildings and all this. Sometimes we get to see pamphlets and big old binders with bigger, you know, sheets and tells everything. I can't read shit, right? But it looks like a bunch of drawings telling people what to do. My brother, he's like, well, okay, we got to paint this way, right? He can read that.
Yeah.
I can't read it. Other people would be able to do the same thing with us. But I say it all the time. It's like a film is like a building, right? Like the architect might send you the vision. I'm like, okay, cool. The director in the you know, the construction company and the construction management and the people are going to be the realists, being like, bro, this actually can't be done physically. Like, there's not enough steel in the world to do this, you know, or there is infrastructure problems here. You're going to have to change this opening here. They're the physical people. That's the AD.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go into, like, the actual crew. then you have your laborers, you have your concrete, you have all this other stuff, like the G&E, like your makeup, like your hair, like your press people at the end. You have all this stuff, and then it all combines together. So as a director, you have to not only oversee your prize of the vision that you have to complete, but you have to oversee the whole entire structure of it. That's why it becomes a business.
Right.
That's why production usually is a business.
Sure.
You get whatever pictures, your production company pictures, gets a license, creates a business. You create a business, a temporary business, and that's your production.
Yeah.
Because it's a business, it becomes that level.
An operation.
Yeah. So
really
you
is
need to not lose money, and at that point, it's like any other business. It's capitalistic. It want to save money. It wants to cut corners where it can, and that all depends on how, for example, good the AD is and good the director is, and how susceptible they are in order to make sure that they can keep back this overwhelming pressure on the crew. That's what it will be,
and keep them from feeling it, like you said.
You can explain that a little bit more, like
being
a little bit of a barrier between a buffer zone between a corporate magnet,
no, because you're. I mean, especially as an AD, you're. But before I get on to the AD thing, I do want to answer your question.
Okay.
A shot list is just a description of what the shot is supposed to look like. A storyboard is the visual of what the shot is supposed to look like.
So
the lighting diagram is the lighting setup so that everyone knows how it's going to look lighting wise. That is to answer your question, so you don't think we went right back.
Yeah, my bad.
Now, on the AD side of things, it is pretty...
Which is assistant director.
Oh, no, yeah, I get there.
Two and I guess second.
Hold on, there's three. There's three elements to this. There's first assistant director, then there's second assistant director, then there's second assistant director.
Not third.
No, second, because you're the second director.
Okay.
You're not the third, you're the second.
Right.
You're the second, basically.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
The first assistant director is on set the entire time. If we're on like a big project, more of a union, unions usually are hired by tiers. Tiers are an accounting system. Like, if you're worth this much money, this is what tier you're at. Marvel, tier 3. That's the highest you can get. There's no way you're going any higher than that.
Right.
That's
like hundreds of millions.
Beyond, almost close to billion. Anything, once you're tier 3, you're like millions and up. Like,
it's like whatever you want to always like Avatar style. Shit.
Yeah, 2 super big.
2 is like above $1 million, right? I think that's what you said.
I'm not sure.
About half, I think, about like half a million.
Okay.
But like, our projects wouldn't even touch tier 1.
Yeah, which is
what we shot
60K.
is like, that's a lot. It's a lot of fucking money. So, but yeah, in the sense that we're able to do that with that budget anyway, it says a lot, first of all, like the budgets that we're even offered. But I lost my train of thought. I don't really know what I was going to say before. It went away. But just know it was there.
Well, it was related to the tying in of the structural component and the business organization.
Yeah, kind of like defending the crew from the
barrier of.
I got it. Sorry. That's what the first AD is. The first AD basically is on set the entire time.
Yeah.
On bigger sets, you're using walkies. You're relaying your information to tier 2, not tier 2, second AD. No, the key PA is sending out the information to the PAs. The first AD is really just telling the key PA everything, and the key PA tells the PAs.
Yeah.
But the first AD really is talking to the director, the second AD. And the second AD is the one that handles everything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Okay? And the reason why you're the second is because you're a technical behind the scenes kind of logistic.
Doing some more paperwork.
It's
beyond
that. It's also you're dealing with the extras.
Like
you're dealing with the extras mostly. Like your background. You're dealing with all of that. Everything that's literally background. You look at second AD as foreground.
Right.
AD is the whole entire picture.
Yeah.
But like if you're going to the second and the second, it's like second is the background. Like everything happening in the background. You got to deal with all of that.
I mean, if you're going to that point where you have to have a second AD, then
it's a higher budget.
That's
you're
a big
dealing
deal.
with a lot of extras, or just random people.
Yeah, and that's like another component that like a lot of people is like, oh, just have the extras be in the background. No, every extra in the background.
It's like no, they got it. Like so when we were working on Hunter, and we were in the bar, and basically we kept telling the extras that they had to keep doing their same beat over and over again.
The fact that I came to you and was like, we got to make them play, or just make them do something that is related to the bar, because that's how normal life is.
And you're there for 6 to 10 to 12 hours at a time, and these extras are just in the background. So something that you said that really stood out to me was like these people got up at 6 a.m. to be here, and of course they're in the background and doing it for hours. Just get some movement back there, and make them feel like they're actually part of the
let's
set.
make them feel part of it, because that's why they're there, to be honest, and that's how you get called up again, or people recognize you, some other stuff. I mean, at the end, you have to have fun. Like, that's part of the rule of filmmaking, right? But
So after this experience that we all had, and like I said, this is still all very new for me. What's kind of standing out to me when I especially listen to podcasts with film people, and just in general, the relationship between the director and the director of photography, how key that is. And I kind of just want you guys to weigh in and what you think about that relationship, because you guys worked so well together. I think
it's needed, because all I'm using is my voice. He's using the picture. If we took a snapshot right now of this entire basement, and we're in that picture, basically my job would be telling you what to do in the picture. His job is to think about all of this, all of the surrounding. Because I'm not thinking about that. I just, and I promise you, most writers and directors, they only think about how the people look. Like, you'll think, oh yeah, dystopian. That's it. Like, you won't go any further than that. And you'll be like, hey, DP, just know I'm thinking of dystopian. And now he has to figure out, maybe Sandy, maybe we go Mad Max style. Well, what are you trying to do here? Like, what exactly is your idea?
I'm sure, you'd come with your art director. The art director we'd all cook a soup of visuals. I mean, depending on his imagery, it's like, then what's practical? The art director might be like, this is what we could build if we have money. And or maybe we have to go miniature, and then the DP's like, cool, let me get this lens, let me get this lighting, and I'll shoot a miniature.
Yeah. So once you have an idea of the spatial,
absolutely.
features,
what do you want? What do I need to light? Is the DP's thing. With what lenses is adequate. The art director with him and stuff, and the set the art department, the art head, the art director is the one in charge of everything coming down, creative set deck wise. But it's like, DP, art director, and director have to be in a very
fluid relationship.
On that, in budgets like that, and when you have an art director, when you can afford one, when there is a thing for it, but I think the biggest thing, and maybe I don't know if you agree, but I think the biggest thing is trust in the way that you communicate shots.
Yeah, it's all communication at that point. It's
Which
not even
was
like
a big thing that stood out.
Yeah,
to me.
it's communication. Remember, no one here are mind readers, so everything always have to be communicated to the best of the degree. You're trying to tell an actor you want this. You're like, hey, do that, but do it better. It's like, but what the fuck does that mean? Like, what do you want me to do? That's like, you gotta. I think, to me, a good director is the one who can do what's needed to be done in as less shots as possible. Because if you convey what they need to know from the get-go, and they do it right, you only got to worry about getting one for safety at that point. Fuck all of this, like, oh, let's get 10 shots of you. You're a bad director. You just made... I get it. Not a bad director. I get everyone has their thing, but
it's confidence thing.
I do believe at that point, if you're doing something wrong, that you're not communicating, maybe you're being too highbrow about yourself. I don't get that notion. That's why at least me personally, I don't like to do too many takes. It's like, I want to just communicate as well. Like, you're not a mind reader. I have to tell you exactly, hey, can you lower your tone a little bit? And also, kind of round your words. I notice you're dragging a lot of them. I just want you to end like, don't give me this, give me this. You get what I mean? You have to communicate that stuff. People don't know that. It's the personality specs that go with these scripts. So like, if a person is timid, most times they're going to be curled in. If a person's brave, shoulders out, you have to communicate that stuff, because not everyone knows. I could just say brave and they think brave is just doing this. It's like...
Well, you have to, and that's what I learned from acting, right, is you have to be able to convey emotion. And so you can say sad, right? And so some people might have a notion of sad in their mind, but then you start getting you trickle down into the specificity of sadness, because, there's these big tiers of anger. There's like, 5 major emotions or something like that. But then there's subsets between those emotions that you can help convey. And it's like, And then at some point, if that doesn't resonate with them, then it's like, have you ever had an experience like this that made you feel this way? Which that's one of, like I said, I really love that communication of being able to like articulate emotions to people to like help them feel it is so awesome to me. But also, the relationship with the DP, things that like I said, it's the technical stuff that plays into the emotion where you're like rack focus into technical stuff. But you're like, as the director,
it's like electrolytes.
You want to get a guy up front, and then you have to get these people in the back too. And you, at least what it sounded like on set, was you have enough experience working with DPs, or like, I don't know if you've ever been.
No, mostly DP. Him. Just really realistically him. Like at this point, I feel like it would just be too fucking complicated to try to sit here and not even teach, because he kind of just figured it out. Like, he's taught me a lot of shit, like, look-wise, because I'll tell him some stuff, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I want this shot. And he'll be like, cool, what lens were you seeing this for? And I'm like whatever one you pick. And it was like, yeah, but, like, how were you seeing the shot? Right, and there's stuff like that, like, especially when we were working on Hunter, that I was just like, by the end of it, I knew which each lens did specifically. If we were using a 35 to 75 to 100. 100 or 110?
100 and... Yeah, 100, I think it was.
There's 100, and then also the 85.
135, sorry.
135,
yeah.
But just even those two, I knew specifically what it would...
Where you can get from.
Exactly, So it worked.
Sometimes, it's like, you heard us say, it's a cowboy close-ups and stuff, but it's like the prairie shot, a very shin shot. So it's just techniques from all kinds of films. You could talk about give me something like the Spideyverse effect, right?
Yeah.
You could say that type, and people would click on it and be like, I know what you're saying. That's going to be a trend. People will do that type of animation, to look different. People will do that. Hey, can you give me Shyamalan style? Can you give me a twist? And it's like, okay, cool, we could do that. You could also do that visually. Yeah. Remember, like your camera movement is a huge thing. Camera in motion is and something in an object in motion is another thing. Yeah. And then just static camera with an object in motion is a whole thing too. So you got to play with your camera movement. And for example, for him, that's why I think he's a good director, because he understands his camera movement, his placements, and how he wants to evocate or invocate kind of like emotion. Yeah. You know what I mean? But because for example, I like a little camera movement. I think the camera, aside from it just being completely flat and needed to present an object or having to present a villain or something or such situation, then a flat image, steady image is good. But I think stability in the eye is kind of on perception. I feel like, since we kind of like typically if you're in an environment, I like to shoot stuff where you could be there. It almost seems like you could be attached in there. Yeah. And in that case, it doesn't seem like it's too much like just steady here, block from block. There's always a little pan. There's always a little up. There's always just a little bit of a wobble.
because your camera is also painting the picture for you. Right. That's another thing. Right. Like your camera plays a psychological effect on people that will make them feel a certain way. You can really make someone feel anxiety ridden in a fight scene. In a hypothetics, if the camera's handheld, the shakiness that also makes it feel not too shaky, like a Marvel fight scene, because theirs is like the person has a problem, and they can't sit still, but it's like you still wanted to feel like a human's holding it, right? So you wanted to have as much free and movement, but also to have, like, if you're keeping, let's say hypothetically you have your frame like this, right? And everyone on the left side of the frame is everyone this person has beat so far. But everyone that they're about to fight comes in on the left, like on the right side. Keeping the camera very close to her head about here, so that this person comes in, she just fights them. You don't know. You're seeing as much as she's seeing.
It's like a conveyor belt.
Let's say, I'm just saying hypothetically, because this is actually a Film Riot, actually, who did this example that I'm thinking of right now, where it's using the camera to keep your audience as surprised as the person who's in the scene. So revealing what they reveal, if you're going to do like a one take situation, you reveal what they reveal, to themselves as well. Like, make the audience feel more in peace with them. Film Riot's really good. If you actually, this is for you, Steve. Like, if you actually want to look into like a lot of stuff, they teach so much good stuff, dude. Seriously.
Yeah. So. Sponsored.
That's the cool thing about filmmaking. Look, for example, like
don't be a menace.
Sharing information, for example, gatekeeping is never going to be a thing for people. Like if you try to do that, that's not going to get you anywhere. Like you have to share your knowledge and share your information in order for people to learn how to do it better, because that's just how the creative space works. That's how it grows.
Yeah.
You might, if you have a technique or something, like we were saying the other day, like what shot hasn't been done? Well, it's like, what needs to be done? Like, what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are we treating things like corporate things where we have to sell a vision or a visual, or are we creators trying to sell a story?
Well, and that's what my next question for both of you was, is how it itches your creative urge in things like this. Because for me, creativity is putting pen to paper. Like, I don't know, we're both writers, so it's really straightforward, coming straight from your brain into that. So, on set, making these decisions, how does that like itch that creative urge for you?
Itching a creative urge. I don't. I'm always doing something. For example, like right now, I'm doing like cover art. I'm trying to get into cover artwork for artists. So I'm just trying to make visuals as much as I can. I am lighting other people's projects. So it's almost just like if I could keep just walking along the same line with just doing anything creative,
okay,
I'm completely cool with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I was working with a brand new DP yesterday, and I was a gaff, and he was very, very, very nice, very gracious to just the idea of these different lights, because he comes from a Fresno background, very, highlighting or whatever. So it's like you use a lot of light. I get it, and this is what we used to do. Oh, we are all kind of accustomed to this. But when you're doing these fast-paced environments and you're shooting things like this, shooting a short film that's small, decently
concise.
shot, well, you gotta be concise. You gotta be intentional. Right. So when that comes around, you're like, oh shit, this guy lit this in 10 minutes. It's like with 2-3 lights in it.
So
it's
some part of being intentional is also a creative thing.
It definitely helps. Like in the mind, it keeps you a little bit more awake.
That's what prep is for. Like that's literally what prep is for. So when you do production's fun and all. Don't get me wrong. I love production. It's my favorite part. But like, it's the prep. Without it, you know how many productions I worked where people did not even have a shot list, and they were just like, "Oh, I read the script, and this is everything that's supposed to happen in the script." So they're just filming to themselves, like, "Oh, it's that gimmick of the person with the camera, like it's just a person with a camera."
It's typically a DP who sells his services with full thing, and then either there is no grip or electric, or it's just not available because people, and then it just goes downhill. Yeah, because nobody can do every job.
Yeah,
nobody can do every
actually,
position.
there is one that I can think of, Khalik. Although he I think, but in his medium, it works for him because he actually does like music videos for the most part.
No, I mean, how we would do music videos, and you could do music videos with one person. Very good cameras now, very good lenses now. Minimal lighting like we have here, LEDs and stuff like that. You can make anything happen. I shot a couple of things.
But I still do think that prep is needed.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
For a lot. Music videos is kind of it depends on it.
Just depends on
the vibe, it's like how complex you try and get with those. But no, prep is definitely
especially paid ones. Like a good paid music video would have a director, but those are rare as well, especially here in Philly. Aside from not having that much budget, you get a lot of local artists, and that's good. You get to be creative with lighting. That's why I tell you, you gotta. We were just talking about earlier. You gotta know how to light complexions.
Right.
And that's different. It's hard to do because you'll see a lot of DPs, a lot of crews that in big famous movies, you'll see them, and it's like you guys are lighting this guy terribly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You could be Indian. Literally, it's just people of certain complexions forward. Or like you could be from Bangladesh, or you could be from Somalia. They're not gonna light you well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's because we are accustomed as digital cinematographers to just light the subject. We don't really know how to make the subject pop out of the image. And that's where I think theatrical lighting styles come in with kickers and old school, almost like theater. And it makes people look better.
Right.
Theater is so.
Theater teaches a lot, man.
Theater is
underrated.
I've never worked production in theater.
Yeah.
But I've worked like as an actor in a theatric thing. It is very complicated, man. Like the stagehands, the amount of stuff that they have to remember just on cue. Dude, it's pretty wild, man. Like I do want to do it.
AV script, right? Not old school.
I've never even, what's crazy is I still don't even think I've seen an AV script.
Yeah. Even that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, have you?
Visuals.
No,
Yeah.
I've seen examples. I've seen multiple frames of it, and and it's separated nice and different. But it's like a musical.
Yeah.
Like I've known about it. I just because you could write. I think you write music videos with it too.
Okay.
That is that same like structure.
The template type
I
stuff.
think so. I could be wrong there because I know music videos do have their own like specific template too.
Right.
So, but I do know that AV was mostly for like theater.
I got a thing for templates, bro. Templates. Whenever you got a good template, you just have to either keep it. You got to share it with people. You got to do whatever you got.
Yeah. You know how, that template that we were using as pre-production. I made all that from scratch. You know how many people I share that with now?
Yeah,
I feel kind of proud. Of the fact that people
I shared it with Mike.
With Mike,
I'm
like,
I need to get him on the pod, but
yeah, bro, he's got a cool movie coming out. It's a cool.
You worked on it,
it's a really cool concept, man. This guy's struggling with sex addiction, masturbation addiction.
Holy
a young
shit.
kid.
It's a movie about me.
Nah, bro, it's intense, but it's cool. It's like self-confidence issues and shit. But yeah, he'll tell you a little bit more about it.
But yeah, so I mean, that kind of to kind of wrap up. It's where are you guys now with your journey, your path, your career, or whatever you want to call it, and where do you see yourself moving forward?
My end goal is to film this one film called Sellout. If I can film that, I will be
complete.
Yeah, I will be complete. I don't want to say what it is on here.
Okay,
but
you want to direct it?
At this point, I don't think anyone else can pull it off the way that I'm seeing it. Like,
no, absolutely. I think it's a very good story. Like it goes back and forth, and I think it has stuff that we have yet to see, and maybe we can make them happen with some other cool effects. And but I mean, he's been cooking it for about maybe 5 years.
Actually.
So
it's almost been a decade.
it's little things like that. Like we thought of really cool ideas. We created like a few shorts in the time, and we're like, look, we're thinking a little bit ahead, and we kind of predicted the whole movement with a picture that we try to get out, and hopefully, and we could always try to get some more coverage of By Chance. But it was a good movie that we did back in the day, and really good actresses, Julia Levitt. We have this as a main. Lead. It was great operation. So it's like small projects that we've just ended up doing. Then we ended up going into the industry and working more to eat, to keep a roof, That was a little bit more the intention. But luckily enough, we got with some good people here in Philly that kept us kind of working for little periods of time and here and there. And but yeah, like hopefully he can get that done. It's gonna be
that's one day. That's like funny enough is that's actually why I'm making all this stuff. Like I am specifically even was just like just a bunch of like making things just so that I can have proof to people like, hey, trust me with a
hopefully,
budget.
honestly, I hope that by the end of the summer we could have a full script for this piece that we wrote not long ago, maybe the end of last year. It's called Ruta a Waltham. Which is Waltham is a place in Connecticut.
Oh, is that how you pronounce that last one? I've been
Ruta
saying Waltham.
Waltham.
Like, what is Waltham?
It's because it's Waltham, right? Waltham. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but it's a community in Connecticut.
Even writing it, I was pronouncing it like that.
Yeah. But we'll see if we could probably get that out and produce.
Yeah, that's like the next. That's actually, if you want to know the next thing that like we're like collaborating, thinking about is that we've been talking about that a lot.
Is it feature short?
We're making it into one now.
We're making it into one now.
It was a short before, but it was like we wrote only an hour, and he was like, you know what? might as well just commit.
Yeah, commit.
I mean, and it'll give us time. Actually, it'll give us a chance to flush out a lot of the characters too. So
and a feature length can be like 110. It could be like you're not 100.
It's
like
70
or
120. No, not 120.
I'm thinking even like 70 minutes. That's like some people would consider that a feature length film too.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Is like I think certain requirements have to happen.
90 minutes.
2 hours or something now. 90 minutes, an hour and 30.
Yeah, hour and 30.
So it's like different.
Math.
There's different. It's different requirements. Yeah, different requirements for different people to submit, right? So, for example, that's why we shot it with the FX9. We decided that we couldn't do it with the Venice, unfortunately. But that would be what we would want to shoot stuff with because of just cinematic purposes on that level on our budget. But the FX9 shoots well for what it is. But if we get to the point where we just need to make it, I think we might shoot it with something like the FX6 because there's 2 people that have them and might be able to get a.
So you have an ideal and then you have
because I want to I think that there's no compromising in quality when you go step by step. There's a lot of car movements, a lot of rig stuff. if you go step by step, lighting each shot, I don't think it's really that complex. If we shoot it with something, that's not quality, we mainly just want to make sure that we can get it into different platforms. Sure. If that is the case, like we're trying to do with the short film that he has. And any other projects that we're,
it's like, as accessible as possible.
You guys just get it out, just sell it to somebody, just get
like you said, just have things be like, I did this.
Yeah. Kind of, that's honestly what it really is at this point. Really so, like, but if I'm being honest with you, the way Hunter looks so far, I'm like, that's pretty dope.
So I was looking at the clip that I have of him with the bloody hands, and he's not wearing the shirt.
Which shirt?
That he's supposed to have changed into.
Wait, what do you mean?
I was hoping that you would have caught this already.
Wait, what shirt is
so
he wearing?
The final shirt? Yeah, so the final
red
scene?
shirt. No, you're fucking right.
Damn.
That's no, that's a mask. We could just mask that and put it.
Mask that in. Okay, if you can fix it, I didn't want to point
I'm
that out.
thinking about it. Well, no, you know what? We can get away with this actually because of the fact that this is in his head, and that is what he wore when he killed them.
Oh yeah. See, you're gonna have to do some creative magic there, but
no, but that is an idea. That is a way that we can do that.
The fact that it is a callback to a mind moment. That's probably why intuitively we decided to keep it on, because you knew that it was a flashback to
but
I think right now.
Because it's a flash. It's still a mental flash. No, this is good. Even I know I get what you're doing, but like it is like nice for people to even see the creative process of certain things. If that mistakes do happen, they happen, and now you have to either figure out a way around it
or reshoot.
Or reshoot. Right. And then I think that a way around it is just recognizing that we already established at one point in time, even when we were filming it, that he's very in his head.
Right.
So it kind of would make sense for his shirt to be back to the black one, only considering that that's what he wore when he killed them. I guess what really could have helped us is if we had the mask on too at the time.
Or a scripty.
Or like the script. Wait, what?
If we had a Scripty?
No, it's Scripty too, but also Scripty wouldn't have known because we filmed that post, like afterwards. Scripties are usually good at catching things that are like, hey, in the last shot you just did, that's not where that cup was. Like they're good at
changing lines.
If certain things don't match, like
that one takes best.
That's continuity.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if we put that shirt on him for that final scene.
No, we did.
For the grandma
red shirt?
Yeah. He wasn't.
Final shot?
He changed. because like
wait.
For the final shot.
He's right here. He's right. Yeah.
Because
throughout that last part. Yeah. That's tough. Here's what I'm thinking. Like honestly, because here's what I'm thinking. Because of the clips we would have to talk to Serge about this, but we could honestly just cut all the shots of him putting the shirt on in the first place, and just cut it to him.
But then,
he
at the door, bro, I was thinking about this.
Because then we can only show the shots of the receptionist. Keep the focus in that direction. Have Tiffany walk over. And then the wide will be the only thing that probably will fuck it up a little bit, because he does walk in, but he does turn sideways. You wouldn't see the shirt. You just see the jacket. And then every shot from that point on, we already got him with the black shirt on. So if we could just kind of hide the black shirt thing, we could get around that, honestly.
Okay.
That's a good note. Thank you for bringing that up. Because I didn't even... No, why are you sorry? You were the AD.
I'm sorry because right now,
it's everybody.
I think we should continue this conversation, but I think we should end the podcast. But I wanted people to get like long? I have a good mental... After podcasting for so long, I have a good mental gauge.
You have a good mental... You're going to project it? You're going to project it to people from your brain?
But anyways, thanks. I wanted to give a little snippet of our creative process and how we fix mistakes and things like that. But Devo and Adan... do you want to shout out your socials, where you can find any projects or anything that you have coming out, that sort of stuff?
You can find me on the dark web.
I'm in my basement. No.
I'm in my basement.
No. Well, I guess Instagram-wise, at Adan Perez, that's AdanPerezdOP. You can find me there and message me if you guys got anything coming up. That, and that's mainly my go-to right now.
Yeah, and I'm just So Devo on Instagram. SOUD. I was gonna get there. Give me a moment. SOUD. Actually, what is it?
Finish.
I'm getting there. Okay. S for snake.
Okay.
O for octopus.
All right, I'm gonna cut them off before
unicorn,
they even are able to find your
D
Instagram.
for Devante, of course. V for Vante, of course, and O for octopus.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. But thanks, you guys, for coming out here. Appreciate it. And it was a good conversation. It was appreciate it. So
Thank you
give
for
it a
having
fist
us,
bump.
bro.
Boom.
Appreciate you, bro.
Boom. And that's a wrap.
The cameras are still rolling, so technically it's not a wrap. So I can say anything within this time. The government is using your loudest.